Long time. Sorry about the bad upload speed. The cause of that is because I've been trying to move out of the house. Sorry, and I will be uploading quite a bit this week and getting back on schedule. Hopefully putting out at least 7 videos. Hope you guys will enjoy all of them. There will be 5 in this one. Credits in the description. Thank you. One year ago, I was in my room in the basement. This is at like 3 a.m. I wanted to play Xbox. I saw the controller on the table by the TV and chair. I had to take a leak first, so I came back and the controller is gone. I looked through every drawer on the entertainment stand and the controller is in the drawer on the far right. This drawer is full of like 5 big textbooks and cannot be moved on its own. When I picked up the controller, I didn't close the drawer. I walked towards the chair and I hear the drawer slam shut extremely fast. Later that night, a hoodie that was on the ground levitated and ended up on my legs while I was in bed. And I felt hands touching my legs when this happened. Fast forward a couple nights, I'm on Xbox and my buddies all told me they heard a little girl crying and saying weird things through my headset. This happened multiple different times. The same night I experienced sleep paralysis and saw a little girl in a dress with blacked out eyes on pale skin just staring at me. I moved in with my dad and I heard the little girl crying before I fell asleep. Ever since these events, I experienced what I think is paralysis on a constant basis. Before I started my current job as a security officer, I was very much a non-believer of the paranormal to a point where I would try to debunk anything and everything involving ghosts or whatever else is out there. I worked in a fairly large factory that has lots of office buildings. It's been here since the 70s, I believe so. It is quite old. Since COVID, most of the office workers have been relocated and they're mostly abandoned. There is one office building in particular that has a reputation for being haunted among some of the people that work there. There is completely detached from the rest of the plant, so there's no outside noise from the factory in it. Even when it was still in use, it had an eerie vibe to it. I would patrol the building hundreds of times a night, even early morning hours. As of today, I have 3 strange occurrences, or encounters. The first 2 were before the pandemic, and they weren't really that scary, just a little off. But what happened today I can't explain, and my heart is still racing as I typed this out. It happened 30 minutes ago. The first strange thing that I encountered was a doorknob shaking. Yeah, I know, the classic weird, creepy ghost phenomenon. As I was walking down one of the hallways, I heard a rattling noise coming from the conference room. I turned the corner and the doorknob is just shaking. And this is a big heavy metal door. So, I didn't know what could have caused it. I put my hand on the knob and opened the door, and there was nothing in there. Since then, I've never seen this happen again. The second one is, I was on patrol again. There was another small office connected to the previous buildings. As I entered through the security door, I heard a door slam in the office. All of the office doors in this particular office have windows with blinds on them. I wasn't necessarily freaked out because it was still early evening, so it could have been someone working still. As I went to investigate where the sound was coming from, I turned to look at one of the doors, and the blinds were rocking left to right. I had to check it out and make sure either A, it wasn't another guard messing with me, B, wasn't an intruder. I opened the door and there was no one in the entire office. I can't explain it. That leads me to what just happened about 30 minutes ago. Since COVID, I usually drive from the guard post to one of the bathrooms in the plant so I can go to the bathroom, because we have none at the post. I decided to just go to the office building where I heard the doorknob shake because it's private, and I wasn't necessarily creeped out by it, and it's just broad daylight. As soon as I entered, an overwhelming feeling of dread just encapsulated me. Even though it's daytime, most of the outside light doesn't get in. There are windows, but they are very small. The whole time I was there, I just felt like I was being watched or followed. I can't explain it. When I was using the bathroom on the second floor, I just felt this wave of anxiety take over me, and I was scared to leave the bathroom. And I walked back to my car. I finished up and speed walked to the nearest exit, speeded down the stairs. The whole time I felt like somebody was watching me right behind me. I got out of there as quick as possible and walked around the entire building on the outside back to my car. I have never felt this kind of dread or terror before in my life. I honestly can't explain it. I didn't see or hear anything, but what I felt was more terrifying than anything I have ever felt there. I was 100% a skeptic before I started working here, and now I don't know what to believe. If anybody has an explanation of this feeling I experienced, please leave a comment. This happened like 2 weeks ago, on a clear moonless night, and I'm still shook from it. So I was sitting outside. It was around 1:30 in the morning, drinking tea, watching the stars, and listening to music in one ear. Normally I do this when I'm not feeling too great. This night was odd. I noticed that there were a lot more odd noises that I at first put down to stray cats being under my house, as we get them so very often. This continued for about a half hour until I thought I kept hearing whispers or distant voices again. I shrugged it off, thinking it must have been my other earphone that I was hearing for some reason. Having finished my tea, I leant back and on the stairs and getting more comfortable and being able to look at the shooting stars. And at that moment, I felt something brush of the very tip of my hair. I thought it was a cat at first, but I sat up and saw my cat at my feet chilling. Another 10 minutes passed, more voices and off sounds. That's when the stairs started to shake, as if somebody was slowly walking up the stairs. I paused my music and put my hand flat on the steps, and I was sitting on thinking it might have been another earthquake. I have only had one in my 22 years of life in the town before before I hear, in whispers, exhausted sounding, a voice saying, "Scare me," from behind me. I shot up on my feet and turned around looking for whoever said it. Needless to say, no one was there. My fight or flight kicked in. I panicked. I forced out a laugh, saying, "Haha, if you're hiding, we have cameras everywhere. You probably got on one of them." I have a habit of bluffing, not being scared, and when I get freaked the fuck out, I go inside and check the cameras only to find that the one that would have been sitting on the stairs had stopped working. It came on in the morning for some reason. Every time I have tried to sit outside and chill, I get chills for as if someone was watching me, and I hear all the same types of noises that I did on the same night, and other attempts to sitting outside after the incident on the stairs started shaking as if someone was walking up them again. I booked it back inside. This was one of two major experiences I've had in my house. If you would like, I can tell other ones from when I was a kid. I was working at an aerospace company in Irvine, California back in 2008. My manager's son Joe had passed away at 43. Strange things started happening at the office. Me and a coworker witnessed a stack of blighters slide off my manager's slide table. My landline and cell phone would ring with my manager's phone number showing in the display. Yet I looked over at my manager and she was not looking at her phone. So I got freaked out. I left the office to go to Target to shop. While I was shopping, the cell phone rang again. I answered it, and a sinister laugh was on the other end. I hung up, rang again. This time I heard a voice say, "Help me." Each time the phone was ringing, my manager's phone number would show up on the display. I went to Joe's funeral. He was a very loved guy. In the church, hello everyone. To begin with this, we had to move into this home about 6 years ago. And right off the bat, it was an older lady's house, and it had been older than homes I had been in the past few years. Anyway, when we arrived to look at the home, I remember telling my mom that I felt sad in the home, and I was about 8 at the time, so I had no paranormal experiences or any way to know it had a bad vibe. When we moved in and lived in it for a year or more, we noticed some strange happenings around the home, like footsteps or seemingly little kids running down the hallway. I hadn't heard anything like that, but my mom had claimed that I saw a black ball run into a room, and it caused me to go full panic mode. I had no recollection of this. One night I was asleep. I had woken up out of nowhere, and seemingly I thought I was woken up just for an odd way I somewhat understood. Soon I'd hear 3 loud thuds, which I thought were knocks at the door. I'd check the time and go check the doors. 3 a.m. Nobody been there but me and my mom's and my mom's husband at the time, and my brothers. Me and my mom's ex-husband would be baffled at the thuds, which he'd ask, "Did you hear that? You heard that too, right?" I agreed, and asked what it was. He responded with a small shrug when I realized those stomps right outside of my room. I was obviously terrified and went to get ice cream and then head to bed so I could calm down.